Welcome back. These are the news from Kazakhstan. I'm Oskar Sherliyev, and here are the top stories. The expression of love towards the leader of nation now takes on the form of the Soviet stagnation period. Enforced reduction of bread prices. Officials in the south of the country drive businesses to work at a loss. A number of bakeries are on the brink of closure. Employees of the poultry factory near Ust-Kamenogorsk are paid with hen and eggs for the last 15 years. The chairman of the National Security Committee, Nurtay Bakayev, made his first public statement at the OSCE expert conference on the successful strategies. The official spoke mainly of terrorism and also contradicted himself, saying that Kazakhstan is still under threat of terrorist attacks, but at the same time, no direct preconditions for such threats exist. The head of the National Security Committee explained that international terrorist groups are trying to enter Central Asia and Kazakhstan. Bakayev said that terrorist recruitment and spread of radical ideology has been reported on the territory of the country. The official named a number of organizations that the government believes to represent some terrorism threat. Al-Qaeda and Hizb ut-Tahrir were also on the list. Interestingly, the head of the National Security Committee said that the violation of human rights is one of the key reasons for the emergence of terrorism. The violation of human rights, poverty, and poor environment are the fertile grounds for the propaganda of the terrorism ideology. Attempts to radicalize religion and spread of terrorist ideology on the internet cause special concern. A replica of a bas-relief depicting Nursultan Nazarbayev cost some $200 US. Kazakh Ali monument, the main symbol of the country, was made into a souvenir and now available in all stores. Find out from the next report whether the costly memento is popular among Astana's buyers. A souvenir in the form of a stele with the image of Kazakh President Nursultan Nazarbayev can now be bought in all specialized stores of the country. The gold and glass mini statue costs $200. I don't think the price is either too high or too low. The model's designers were foremost thinking about their target audience and made it accessible to our citizens. This souvenir is mass-produced, whereas a craftsman from Arkalyk also recreated Nazarbayev's image, although single copy. Aidos Yesmambetov wants to present it to the president and claims the stucco was made using unique technology that the artist will keep secret. The cost of the replica will likely remain a mystery as well. When I touched silicone, I realized it resembles real human skin, so I decided to use it. The image of the incumbent president is continuously cultivated in Astana. The city hosted a checkers tournament among Nazarbayev's namesakes. The theme of the competition was Khan's Games in the Khan's city. Now the tournament organizers want to open a club of Nursultans in the capital, as well as a lyceum exclusively for the president's namesakes. Supposedly, more than 200 people with the like name live in Astana alone. I think that the time will come and all the boys named Nursultan born in Astana and other cities will form an entire team, so these lyceums will happen eventually. In the meantime, owners of shops selling new souvenirs complain that the goods are not very popular. For some reason, clients are not enticed by the golden finish or the supposed accessible price. The campaign promoting the president's latest message among the population is continuing across the country. The usually quiet discussion of the address turned into a heated debate in Almaty's Economics University on Thursday. Many participants of the event believe the initiatives of the head of state are poorly executed due to gender issues. Find out more from the next story. The discussion of the president's message turned into a gender debate in one of the Almaty universities. First, however, the speakers recalled the initiatives of the past. Economic development in clusters, 30 breakthrough projects, etc. all were left on paper. The message 2020 also includes numerous questionable moments. The goals are set, but there are no clear mechanisms to reach them. There are no specific measures, and this definitely weakens both documents, the message and the strategic plan. President's initiatives will be executing in earnest when the leading positions in the country will be assumed by women. Professor Marjan Alpazbayeva said she believes women are more hardworking and less corrupt. However, there were those who opposed this line of thinking. Do you believe Swedish or Finnish women are smarter than us? In our nomad culture, women always held equal roles with men due to certain circumstances. A wise and smart woman will find a way for self-actualization. The moderator, the president of the Center for Humanities and Political Situation, chose not to interfere but shared his position during a break. Supposedly, the country is long in a general systemic crisis.
prices. I believe there should be no political heavyweights remaining in the state management for 20 years. This effectively blocks the way for new people, while we always speculate whether a new leader could appear to change the incumbent president. The meeting participants finally agreed that all branches of power should be electable. Only then the country will be ruled not by men or women, but by professional managers and officials who take the state control as public service rather than a source of personal power.
Shymkent bread makers accuse local authorities of repressive practices. Apparently, the city administration forces businessmen to undersell their products. Bakeries which refuse to comply are immediately subjected to pressure in the form of numerous audits and inspections. Many entrepreneurs refuse to operate at a loss and shut down their production. Just recently, the country's MP sharply criticized local governments for reneging on their commitment to purchase grain for stabilization funds. In the end, the situation led to the significant increase of bread prices.
Dozens of bakeries may stop operating in Shymkent soon. Businessmen report about the pressure from the city administration. While trying to avoid the increase of prices, the authorities force bakeries to sell bread at the price of 17 cents per loaf. However, calculations show that even the prime cost of each loaf is 19 cents. In conditions of natural profitability and overhead expenses, the final price in the store should be 27 cents. All those who disagree were subjected to audits. One bakery had 5 audits in just 2 days and then was issued 2 fines. These businessmen barely make end meet, and then some tax inspector takes all their money. Officials proposed Shymkent bakeries to sign a contract with the corporation Atamiken on the purchase of flour at discount prices. But according to calculations of specialists from the association, none. Even in this case, the prime cost of the bread will not allow shops to sell it under 27 cents, while officials strive for 22. In addition, bakeries encounter numerous problems during the distribution of the subsidized flour. 17 enterprises already failed to withstand the scrutiny of the authorities and preferred to shut down. The companies that will not sign the agreement will lose the market. We will find new bakeries to cover their clients. While local authorities are trying to bring order to the stores, subsidized bread at discount prices gradually disappears from the market. It is virtually no longer possible to buy bread at the cost of 20 cents in Shymkent. At the same time, it seems that the neighboring Zhambyl region avoided this fate. There, the city administration supports bakeries and stores do not experience any shortage of subsidized bread.
Astana calculates losses from joining the customs union. The increase of prices for food and commodities was caused by the integration with Russia and Belarus, claimed experts at the roundtable organized on Thursday by the ruling party Nuratan. Party members also expressed their concern with the way the work of the formation of the single customs space is currently carried out.
According to experts, the increase of prices, especially for imported food products and goods from third countries, is inevitable. Analyst Natalia Rubinkova says that people will have to get used to new prices lists in stores. The customs union also negatively affected the state treasury. The calculations of the MPs show that the state budget lost around $500 million this year. Officials now propose an alternative to avoid the price fever by lowering the number of imported goods and replacing them with domestic products. Customs duties have increased in relation to the goods from third countries, and this has negatively affected the consumers. It is important to understand that the customs union didn't appear in an instance. The work was done since 2007, and our businesses had to be more active and diversify their activities.
The EAC, Eurasian Economic Community, celebrates its first real anniversary as the organization was created 10 years ago in Astana. Officials and politicians in Kazakhstan and Russia now frequently talk about the organization soon becoming the new European Union for the region. However, new states are not really in the hurry to join the Union. The next report explains why.
The event began with citing achievements. Alexander Kazakov, the head of the EAC Department of Political Economy, noted that the general GDP indicator grew by 59% and the volume of common investments increased fourfold. The general outlook, however, was spoiled by the Ukrainian delegation that claimed that the successes of the EAC quintuple, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Belarus, are questionable. The general growth is based on Russian indicators, whereas goods made in Kazakhstan are nowhere to be found on the global market. In 10 years, the members of the EAC, just as Ukraine, have only fell further behind. We failed as players in the globalization process. All the CIS countries ideally have 4.2% of the GDP growth rate, but for us to be sound, we need 5 to 6%. The main product of the EAC is the customs union, and the future single economic space should ideally support the national business. However, according to experts, the decrease of customs duties and their introduction for the sale of domestic goods within the EAC deprives the producers the ability to compete with the West. As a result, exporting Kazakh goods will be possible only to the nearby neighboring states. Kazakhstan, the current chairman of the EAC, as well as Russia, are accused by experts in their reluctance to consider business interests. People blaming state officials who ignore the society and do what is comfortable for them, but officials have no profit from the customs union because it was created for businesses and not for the state bodies. However, the reality shows the opposite. Ukrainian entrepreneurs, taught by the experience of their Kazakh colleagues, do not want to join the customs union. They first want to hear expert opinions and discuss all the details in the press. We are proposed another model of administrative decisions first and only then the expert discussions and maybe some mass media coverage or support. This is no longer working out for us. Unfortunately or not, the Ukrainian expert community doesn't like the idea. While administrative decisions will rule over economy within the AEC, it will be impossible to create something akin to the European Union. The inefficiency of the customs union was in fact admitted by Russia. Its last initiative was to exclude the oil and gas agreements from the scope of the EAC.